Top 10 NBA players at every ring total. Let's begin starting with 0 rings. For the 0 ring list exclusively, I want to only include retired NBA players. I want to give guys like Chris Paul, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and others a chance to try and get a chip before adding them onto a list like this. For the championship lists, however, I will be okay with adding active NBA players. Without further ado, in 10th place is Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller is easily one of the best Pacers of all time. Unfortunately, he also played during the prime of Jordan's career, but when he did eventually make it to the finals in the year 2000, he was ramsacked by Kobe and Shaq. That's right, he has no rings, but he is a legend.
In 9th place, we have Patrick Ewing. Ewing is an 11-time Knicks All-Star, 7-time All-NBA player, 3-time All-Defensive Player, Rookie of the Year, and a Hall of Famer. In Patrick's best season, he played all 82 games and averaged almost 29 points per game. Had he not got injured during the lockout season, he could have been a champ. Unfortunately, he has 0 rings.
In 8th place is Dominique Wilkins.
Dominique doesn't have any NBA titles. He has a scoring title that he won in 1986, averaging over 30 points per game. He is also a 9-time All-Star who may have had a few chips if he didn't play during the prime of Jordan's career.
In 7th place is Mark Price.
Mark spent most of his career in Cleveland, playing his first 9 seasons there. Mark is part of the rare 50-40-90 club. That's over 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and averaged 90% from the free throw line. Mark is a 4-time Cavs All-Star, 4-time All-NBA player, and averaged almost 20 points per game in his best scoring season and around 17 points per game overall. He led his team to 7 playoff appearances. His deepest run was the 1992 Eastern Finals against the Bulls. He's also a 2-time 3-point champion. How this guy not made it into the Hall of Fame is beyond me. He is one of the most underrated players of all time.
In 6th place is Elgin Baylor. Now this one is tricky. The Lakers did award Elgin a ring in 1972 for playing 9 games with them during the regular season. But is jewelry enough to say that he is an NBA world champion by winning in the finals? Elgin did lead the Lakers to 8 finals and lost all of them. The Lakers finally won without him when he retired 9 games into the 72 season. So depending on what you consider a champion, Elgin would either be on this list or the next one. Regardless, he's still an amazing player. Elgin is one of the most underrated Lakers and players in NBA history. Mr. Inside is a Laker lifer who for one season averaged a video game 38 points per game. He is a Hall of Fame player, 11-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA player, Rookie of the Year, and All-Star MVP. Rest in peace to Elgin Baylor.
In 5th place, we have Steve Nash. Steve Nash has 0 rings, but he has 2 MVPs. Nash played 10 seasons with the Suns and had his most success with that franchise. He won 2 MVPs and led the league in assists 5 times while in Phoenix, averaging over 11 per game during his best seasons. In 4th place, we have John Stockton. John is one of the best point guards of all time, period. Stock is a Jazz lifer who spent 19 seasons in Utah. He currently has the most assists in NBA history with 15,806. He also has the most steals in NBA history with 3,265. He is a 10-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA player, 9-time assist champ, 2-time steals champ, and a 5-time All-Defensive player. I have John ahead of Nash because while Steve's MVPs do look better in a trophy case compared to John's resume, John is a better two-way player, especially being better defensively compared to Steve. However, they are both legendary players and offensive scorers and passers. In 3rd place is Karl Malone. Karl is an NBA Hall of Famer, 14-time All-Star, 2-time regular season MVP, 2-time All-Star MVP, 14-time All-NBA player, and 4-time All-Defensive player. In 2nd place, we have Charles Barkley. I don't need to explain to you why Charles is a great player. What you want to know is why I have him ranked ahead of Malone. While Malone is better on paper with his resume, if you compare both at their peak primes, I think Charles was a more talented player during his prime. Charles was the better rebounder even though he was shorter, he was the better ball handler, and the better passer. And in 1st place, we have Allen Iverson. This is neck and neck between AI and Charles Barkley, as both are 11-time All-Stars and regular season MVPs. Comparing them is quite difficult since they are apples to oranges, but Allen gets my vote as I think he did more with less, both with overall teams and in a physical sense, as Allen rocked the league with his small stature, which in my opinion took more skill.
Plus, crossing over Jordan has to count for something. Next up is the one ring list, and in 10th place we have Anthony Davis. Anthony may soon end up in another list if he wins more rings, but for now the Brow is an 8-time All-Star, 3-time block champ, and 4-time All-NBA player who won a ring in 2020. In 9th place we have Jason Kidd. Jason won a ring in 2011 playing with the Dallas Mavericks and facing the Miami Heat. He is a 10-time All-Star, 5-time assist champion, 6-time All-NBA player, and one of the best pass-first point guards in NBA history. Ranking in 8th place is Clyde Drexler. Clyde won a chip in 95 playing in Houston, but his prime was really during his days in Portland. He is a 10-time All-Star, and had he won a ring during his prime, I likely would have ranked him higher. In 7th place is Kevin Garnett. The big ticket won a ring back in 08. He's also a regular season MVP and a defensive player of the year. KG is one of the best power forwards of the game. If this list wasn't so crowded with legends, he could have easily placed higher. Ranking in 6th place is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, as of this upload, is the most recent champion and finals MVP. He's also a 2-time regular season MVP, defensive player of the year, and 5-time All-Star so far. I have Giannis ranked ahead of KG because he won a ring without joining other All-Stars, and he won a finals MVP, plus he has twice as many regular season MVPs when compared to the big ticket. Fun fact, Jordan, Olajuwon, David Robinson, Kevin Garnett, and now Giannis Antetokounmpo are the only champions who also simultaneously have a regular season MVP and a defensive player of the year award. In 5th place, we have Moses Malone. Moses won a ring in 1983 and also won a finals MVP in that same year. He is a 3-time MVP winner, 6-time total rebounding champ, and an 8-time All-NBA player. Rest in peace to Moses Malone. Landing in 4th place is the Big O Oscar Robertson. The triple-double legend won a ring in 71 playing alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Bucks. This is a really close call between Oscar and Moses, but I have the Big O ranked ahead of Moses Malone because I think he had a more rare skill set and was playing ahead of his era. Not only was he a guard getting double-digit assists and points, he was also getting double-digit rebounds in an era where guards really shouldn't be doing such. Landing in 3rd place is Wes Unseld. Wes is one of the best rookies to ever play the game of basketball, winning a regular season MVP during his rookie season. He won a ring and a finals MVP in 1978 and was an insane rebounder who averaged over 14 rebounds per game. Keep in mind he was a small, undersized 6'7" center playing in an era dominated by big men, yet he outperformed most of them. Rest in peace to Wes Unseld. In 2nd place is Dirk Nowitzki. Many of these players on the one ring list have definitive All-Stars who helped them get to the top. Dirk is a unique case as he is one of the only ones on this list with no other designated All-Star during his finals victory. Sure, he had aged All-Stars like Jason Kidd, but no one in their primes. Dirk himself is also a regular season MVP. And in 1st place is Julius Erving. Dr. J is one of the most underrated players in the sense that his ABA performances overshadow what people think of his time during the NBA. Regardless, his talent is unmatched when compared to many others. Dr. J won a championship in 1983 and is also a regular season MVP. Next up is the 2-ring list, and in 10th place we have Bill Walton. Bill won 2 rings, one with the Celtics and one with the Blazers. He won regular season MVP in 78 and a finals MVP in 77. In 9th place is Ray Allen. Ray won 2 rings, one with the Celtics, one with the Heat. It was Ray's clutch shot in Miami that many credit that ring to. Ray is a 10-time All-Star and 2-time All-NBA player. In 8th place is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi might end up higher on the list in the future. As of now, the Claw is a 2-time champ. He won once with the Spurs, another with the Raptors. He is a 2-way player who is great on both sides of the court. In 7th place is Joe Dumars. Joe won 2 rings with the Pistons. He also has 1 finals MVP. He is a great defensive guard who some dub the Jordan stopper. However, maybe the slowing down Jordan defender is a much more accurate description. In 6th place is Dave Cowens. Dave is a 2-time Celtics champion and also a regular season MVP. He won his rings in 74 and 76. He would have ranked higher, but there are just too many legends going forward. In 5th place is Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah is a 2-time Pistons champion, a 12-time All-Star, and assist champion, and one of the best point guards of all time. He won finals MVP in 1990. In 4th place is Kevin Durant. KD may end up on a list with more rings in the near future. For now, now he is a 2-time Warriors champion, a 4-time scoring champion, 2-time Finals MVP, and a regular season MVP.
In third place is the Admiral, David Robinson. Dave would have easily taken numbers 2 or 3, but these next two are potential GOATs of the sport. Regardless, Robinson is still a legendary player. He is a 2-time Spurs champ and a regular season MVP. I have him ranked ahead of KD because I think KD still has more to add to his resume before passing up a retired big man who is dominant on both ends of the court. Next up, it's really close, and in second place we have Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. If Hakeem had nearly any other ring amount, he would have most definitely took first place, but man, the next guy is one of the GOATs, though so is Hakeem. This is essentially a GOAT debate at this point. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Instead of talking about first place, let's talk about how great Hakeem is in his second place spot. He won 2 rings in Houston while MJ took a mini retirement. Hakeem is also a rare player who have won a ring, an MVP, and a Defensive Player of the Year award. Not many people fall into that category. And in first place is Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. Wilt landing in first place is no surprise. The only real surprise is how does he only have 2 rings? The 4-time MVP is one of the best potential NBA players of all time, period. Rest in peace to Wilt Chamberlain. And now on to the 3-ring list, and in 10th place is Byron Scott. Byron was a 2-guard during the Showtime era, playing alongside legends such as Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In his best season, he put up over 21 points per game and won 3 rings with the Lakers. In 9th place is Bill Cartwright. Bill is a 3-time Bulls champ who won rings playing alongside MJ. He was a rookie all-star who averaged 21 points per game in his rookie season. In 8th place is Draymond Green. Draymond is a 3-time Warriors champ who is also a defensive anchor for the Warriors dynasty. I would have ranked him higher if this list wasn't filled with so many legends, many of which are his own teammates. In 7th place is Dennis Johnson. Dennis won 3 rings, 2 with the Celtics, and his most impressive was with the Supersonics, where he also won a Finals MVP in 1979. He is a 5-time All-Star who averaged over 19 points per game in his best scoring season. Rest in peace to Dennis Johnson. In 6th place is Klay Thompson. Thompson is a 5-time All-Star, 3-time champ, 2-time All-NBA player, All-Rookie player, and an All-Defensive player. He averaged 19 points per game throughout his career so far and over 22 points per game during his best scoring season. In 5th place is James Worthy. James Worthy is worthy of being on this list, no question. He is a 7-time All-Star, 3-time champ, and was part of the Showtime Lakers' Big 3 for a number of seasons. He is also a Finals MVP. In 4th place is Kevin McHale. Kevin is a Celtics lifer, Hall of Famer, 7-time All-Star, 3-time champ, 6-time All-Defensive, and 2-time 6th man. I ranked Kevin ahead of James because James is the 3rd best player on a championship team, and Kevin is the 2nd best player on a championship team. The next 3 players on this list are the 1st best players of their teams. In 3rd place is Stephen Curry. Steph won 3 rings so far playing with the Warriors. He is one of the greatest shooters of all time and one of the best players at his position. He may end up higher on this list in the future. Had he won a Finals MVP, I might have ranked him higher on the list, but if and when he does win one, he'd be on the next list anyway. Landing in 2nd place is Dwayne Wade. Wade is a 3-time Heat champ who won 2 playing with LeBron and won a Finals MVP in 06 playing alongside Shaq. While Wade doesn't have any regular season MVPs, he did have some MVP caliber seasons during the peak of his prime. And in 1st place, it's Bird of the Word, Larry Bird. The best NBA player with 3 rings is Larry Legend. The 2 really close runners-up, of course, are Steph Curry and Dwayne Wade. Curry might be a 2-time unanimous MVP, Wade might be the 3rd best shooting guard ever, but Bird has 1 more MVP than Steph and 1 more Finals MVP than Wade. As far as stats go, Curry and Bird get the same amount of assists at around 6 per game. Both are great scorers and 3-point shooters, but Bird was the far better rebounder and defender than Steph was. And now on to the 4-ring list. In 10th place is Will Perdue. Will has 4 rings, 3 with the Bulls, 1 with the Spurs. He was a solid role player who put up roughly 5 points per game. In 9th place is Pep Saul. Pep won 4 rings, 1 with the Royals, 3 with the Minneapolis Lakers. He too was a solid role player who put up roughly 6 points per game.
Rest in peace to Pep Saul. In 8th place is Kurt Rambis. Kurt is an extremely underrated player who helped the Showtime Lakers win 4 rings during the 80s. He is the best non-All-Star on this list. In 7th place is Bill Sharman. Bill is a 4-time Celtics champion and an 8-time All-Star. In his best season, he put up over 22 points per game. Rest in peace to Bill Sharman. In 6th place is Jamal Wilkes. Jamal won rings on both the Lakers and Warriors. He is a 3-time All-Star and a 2-time All-Defensive player who put up over 22 points per game in his best scoring season. I have him ranked ahead of Bill thanks to his defensive abilities and playing in a much tougher era being the 80s. In 5th place is Manu Ginobili. Ginobili is a 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA player, 6th Man of the Year, All-Rookie player, and a 4-time Spurs champ. If Ginobili was the first option and was told to score first, his 20-point per game season is proof that he has the ability to put up great scoring numbers. Landing in 4th place is Robert Parrish. Robert won 3 rings with the Celtics and 1 ring with the Bulls in '97. Robert is a 9-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA player. If he grabbed some Finals MVPs, I may have ranked him higher. Ranking in 3rd place is Tony Parker. Tony played most of his career with the Spurs, a total of 17 seasons with San Antonio and 1 season in Charlotte. He averaged over 15 points per game throughout his career, but over 22 points per game during his best scoring season. Tony is a 6-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA player, All-Rookie player, a 4-time NBA champ, and a Finals MVP. In 2nd place is Shaquille O'Neal. Superman won 3 rings, three-peating with the Lakers in the early 2000s, and grabbed a 4th ring in Miami with Flash Dwayne Wade. Had the next person not be a top 2 or 3 player of all time, Shaq would have easily been number 1 on this list. And in 1st place is LeBron Raymond James. The King so far has 4 rings, 2 with the Heat, 1 with the Cavs, and 1 with the Lakers. LeBron may be on a higher ranking list in the future. Why he comes first on this list needs no explanation. And now on to the 5-ring list, and in 10th place is Steve Kerr. Not counting coaching rings, Steve Kerr has 5 rings as an NBA player. He won rings with the Bulls and the Spurs. He was a great role player who put up solid numbers, but he was a legendary 3-point shooter who shot 52% from 3 in his best shooting season. Keep in mind this was during an era where 3-pointers weren't as heavily emphasized as today. In 9th place is Derek Fisher. Derek spent the most of his career and his prime playing with the Lakers, and that's also where he won his 5 rings. He was the starting point guard for many seasons, playing alongside the legendary Kobe Bryant. In his best season, he put up over 13 points per game. In 8th place is Don Nelson. Don is a 5-time Celtics champ who won rings during the 60s and 70s. He is a Hall of Fame legend who put up nearly 16 points per game in his best scoring season. Ranking in 7th place is Ron Harper. Ron won his rings playing alongside Jordan's Bulls and Shaq/Kobe's Lakers. While he was never a designated All-Star, he had many All-Star caliber seasons, putting up over 22 points per game for a number of seasons. In 6th place is Michael Cooper. Michael Cooper is a Laker defensive legend who racked up 5 rings during the Showtime era. Michael was an important piece to the Showtime Lakers puzzle that helped them win 5 championships. He usually came off the bench for most of his career, but he is an 8-time All-Defensive player and 1 Defensive Player of the Year in '87. Cooper is an elite defender, and a lot of his efforts don't show up on the stat sheet, but they do show up in the trophy room. Ranking in 5th place is George Mikan. George is one of the best Minnesota Lakers players ever. He's arguably one of the best Lakers, period, although many legends from LA might have something to say about that. For 5 out of the 7 seasons, this dude was a champ, which is a really good season-to-chip ratio. Rest in peace to Mikan. In 4th place is Dennis Rodman. The Worm won rings with the Bulls and Pistons. Rodman won Defensive Player of the Year twice, once in 1990 and once in '91. He is a 7-time total rebounding champ and an 8-time All-Defensive player. He's also a 5-time champ in general. His defense helped both the Pistons and the Bulls win it all. Rodman was the total rebounding champ for 7 seasons in a row from '92 to '98, averaging nearly 19 rebounds in his best rebounding season. In 3rd place is Magic Johnson. Magic is a Laker legend and most likely the best point guard of all time. His passing ability and court vision is second to none in the NBA, and his 5 Laker rings speak for themselves. If the next 2 players weren't also potential GOATs, he would have likely ranked number 1 on this list. In 2nd place is Kobe Bryant. Why Kobe ends up so high on this list needs no
no explanation, which you're wondering is why he ranks ahead of Magic. They have the same amount of rings, Magic has a few more MVPs, but Kobe has more total points scored, and more importantly, he has 9 all-defensive first teams, Magic has 0. Defense is an entire half of the game. Kobe versus Magic is apples to oranges to begin with, but Kobe is a better lockdown defender and he's harder to guard one-on-one in my opinion. Rest in peace to Kobe. In first place is Tim Duncan. The big fundamental in my opinion comes in first, but if someone were to argue Kobe or Magic here, there are no wrong answers. You can legitimately make a great case for any one of these three, but if I had to pick just one, and this is close, I would go with Tim Duncan. The Duncan versus Kobe debate deserves its own video, and Kobe versus Magic also may need its own video. So I will make this argument as short as possible. I am going with Tim based on efficiency. He is the most efficient scorer of the three and the best defender of the three. And now on to the final list, the 6+ rings top 10 list. I am clumping 6+ into one category since the amount of players compared becomes way too small to have a tangible list for each number going forward. Without further ado, in 10th place is Robert Horry. Only 3 players in NBA history have 7 rings. These include Robert Horry, Jim Lustikoff, and Frank Ramsey. Robert Horry has had the longest career of the 3 at 17 seasons, and you can argue he's played in a much tougher era of basketball. In 9th place is K.C. Jones. K.C. Jones was a Celtics role player who helped the Celtics win 8 championships. He is a Hall of Fame player who averaged about 7 per game throughout his career. Rest in peace to K.C. Jones. In 8th place is Sam Jones. Only one player in NBA history has 10 rings, and that is Sam Jones. Sam won his rings playing with the Celtics. He is a 5-time Celtics All-Star and 3-time All-NBA player. In 7th place is Tom Heinsohn. Tom is an 8-time Celtics champ. He's also a 6-time All-Star and 4-time All-NBA player. In his best season, he put up over 22 points per game. Rest in peace to Tom Heinsohn. In 6th place is Bob Cousy. Excluding his one post-retirement season in Cincinnati when he was 41, Bob was pretty much a Celtics lifer. Bob is a 6-time champ, 12-time All-NBA player, regular season MVP, and an 8-time regular season assist champion. In 5th place is John Havlicek. John is one of the greatest Celtics ever. He's a Celtic lifer who averaged 20 points per game throughout his career and almost 29 points per game in his best season. He's a 13-time All-Star, 8-time champion, 11-time All-NBA, 8-time All-Defensive, and a Finals MVP. In 4th place is Scottie Pippen. Scottie spent 12 seasons in Chicago and helped this team win 6 rings. He is a 7-time All-Star, a steals champion, 7-time All-NBA player, and a 10-time All-Defensive player. Scottie is one of the best two-way players of all time. In 3rd place is Bill Russell. Bill is the ringleader of the NBA. He would be on his own list completely as he is the only player with 11 rings. Not only he's an 11-time champ, he's also a 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA player, and 5-time MVP. In 2nd place is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is probably one of the greatest players ever. He's easily top 5 without question, maybe in the top 3, top 2, top 1 even. He's a 6-time MVP, 6-time champion. Kareem is also a 19-time All-Star and leads the entire NBA in points scored so far. And in 1st place, the GOAT, Michael Jordan with 6 rings. He is the GOAT of the sport in my opinion, and why he ranks here needs no explanation. So here are the top 10 players from every ring total. Let me know what you think of this list and what type of videos you want to see next. Don't forget to dunk on that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Rebound Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.